I think you heard the top line views on leadership brand from all the three panelists. Now I'll go one step further. I think, when we're talking about they given their views, I mean, it's a top line. I think just let us drill a little bit further to understand more. For me personally, leadership, as I said, is a leadership, is a process. One has to be very clear about who is a leader. Sometimes we have got this misconception, leader means only CEO. I think this is one aspect, if you see, I would strongly urge leadership at all levels. Any organization, if you want to create a brand, what Anu has said, what Samir has said, what GP has said, I think this alignments, for me, it's a business imperative. I mean, I totally agree, Samir. This is not seen just as a HR initiative, putting a tick in the box, oh, I have done it. And no, that's not the issue. I think this competitive advantage comes from the people, and you need to have a right kind of people. Unfortunately, especially in our country, we have plenty of people, but the issue is, do we have the right kind of people? That's where we struggle. When you have those sort of challenges, talent become a key resource for any competitive advantage in this environment. So I think the focus is now with a business imperative. We need to align with the businesses, we need to get the buy-in, and everybody I'm very happy to see everybody touched upon the culture aspect. Ultimately, what does that leadership process tells you? What is the organization culture, where Anu has alluded? I think one of the hallmarks of a great leadership brand or an institution is, I'm talking about institution, not about an organization. Institution is that how it faces crisis. It's very easy when the situation is honky-dory. Why people do not think about agitation or unions? Even you're seeing the top IT industries are now struggling, forming unions. Why? When there is a survival become an issue. And when the things are not looking honky-dory. As long as honky-dory, nobody thinks about these things. I think the hallmark of a good organization, which has got that stamp of an institutional leadership brand. So she talked about one crisis. And I would just allude that where the processes are robust, as Samir was saying, as GP was alluding, when you have those sort of 3 C's or 3 E's, I think the whole ball game changes. This is the strength of the organization. You can see, I mean, once she talked about the financial meltdown, I would talk because all my life, and you would notice at that time, what is this, where is that the organization glue I was talking about? I was sharing in some other forum as well. I think one of the tests, if you want to really see the leadership brand or the affinity to the organization, what she was talking about, whether City or SP or Coke or Reliance, issue comes in the how you are got the affinity to organization. You see, there used to be one questionnaire in our employees engagement survey, which is done globally from an outside agency. There are about 20 questions. One question was very important to the global board. Was a question, I am proud to be associated with Smithline Beeson. Normally if you go to the Western world, the ratings will be very conservative, unlike, Southeast Asia, where the scores could be 70, 80, but Western world to score beyond a 60, it becomes difficult on many people processes or on the cultural leadership aspects. But this one score always used to be, SP used to score Smithline Beeson around 92, 93. That's one point. The year it has come down to 89, 90, alarms used to ring. Where is something going wrong somewhere? This is what is the affinity. How do you create that brand? It is not just by merely saying or I'm saying. You can see in your reactions, you can see in the feelings. When you've gone for these sort of mergers, where there is uncertainty of survival of certain people due to these mergers and acquisitions, we always used to score on employment engagement survey, same scoring. And when you go to best employers, we always came in the top 5 consecutively 3 years post-merger. What it shows is ultimately, when you have a strong culture, when you have a reliable processes, I think it is important here when you say processes, it's not only people processes, as an organization you are perceiving credibility and trust in the leadership management team is there, then these things would not come into play. This company could survive any sort of crisis, and they, even if they have to go through it, they would be fair and equitable. That's where the leadership brand, why people would like to be a lifer in some companies. I mean, of course, Anu has been too humble to say that, okay, maybe, I also say maybe I'm not getting a job. It's not the issue. Why should I change the job when I'm very proud to be associated with brand? Like alma mater, when you're coming from any school or any college, you'll be associated with it. Similarly, that is the institution which creates that sort of a feeling. So when you have that, some of the issues which you face in the current environment, it is not that you retain a person for a lifetime, but you will be able to get the best productivity. And you're able to contribution, there's a value proposition which comes in from the collectively from people, would go to a very high levels, and that makes the organization per se very happy and healthy family. I think this is where I comes in. So just to sum it up here, I think the mission statement, the purpose of the organization, why we are here, makes a lot of difference. I mean, I just want to give you one purpose statement of GlaxoSmithKline. Our global quest is to improve the quality of human life by enabling people to do more, live longer and happier. I think the most important sentence, it looks like any other statement of any corporate, but the most emphatic statement there is, our global quest is to improve the quality of human life. There is a purpose. It's not just a statement for the sake of saying it, one of those which you find when you enter a reception of a JSK. But I think what it meant they have disposed of all those brands which they felt clinically cannot add value to improve the quality of human life. I mean, for example, I'm not saying some have purchased the brands. This is nothing to do with whether this is making profit or not. I think that's important value proposition there. For instance, Brylcreem, Yardley talcum powder, very profitable brands. They have disposed of. They said this will not clinically. They were not able to prove that they improve the quality of human life. So I think the whole processes, people processes also followed that in terms of making it practices. I don't want to get into depth of it. But just to say, how do you develop talent? Okay, we felt at that time, grow your own timber. I think that was the saying. Now with the context, people change. So we had, when you say leadership doesn't mean becoming a managing director. You can become a functional experts. And then we had this 2+2+2. You work in 2 countries, 2 functions, and 2 businesses. So I think, this is aligned to your purpose of the organization. I think then when you have those sort of things, when you have the trust and credibility, when you have a robust people processes aligning with it, will come. And secondly, any marketing people here? They raise their hands and leaving aside. Okay, don't mistake me. 15 years back, all of them vouch for it. 20 years back, if you go to campus, people know only marketing heads and sales heads. Samir, I have a slightly different view. Now today, if you go to campus, the placement guys knows who is the HR head. Okay, that is what the HR has created. I do agree. I also come from FMCG. Don't latch on too much with marketing. Try to leverage with them. Okay, you may be FMCG company, marketing company. That's the only section. I think it's an alignment. I'm just saying in a lighter way. But I think that's what my take on this. So when you are in a crisis, organization stands for you. Do you stand for them? That is the true test of leadership brand. Otherwise, you can keep on talking. That is the true measurement. That is the litmus test. So that's how I want to put it. I just want to ask one question to all the panelists. I think the point Samir was alluding to the practices and robust practices. Can you share one practice very succinctly which help you to bring this leadership brand in Coke, apart from your products? You said 17 great products.